Hello, Stephen White, TrekBoy89 here. Finally doing the review for Star Trek Discovery Season 2, Episode 9, Project Daedalus. Had a lot of technical problems. Okay, it was a good episode. Probably one of the best. I was quite surprised. I enjoyed it. I was engaged. There weren't any huge canon issues or anything. The one issue that came up was the use of minefields and just the general Section 31 being having so much power was shown to be a problem and something that was mentioned but didn't have to be ham-fisted or anything. So no real problems with it. Enjoyed it. That's why I'm wearing my Discovery badge. I guess this means I like the episode if I wear this. But yeah, I enjoyed it. I was engaged. I wasn't turned off. I think it was a solid episode, probably one of the best. So let's get into it now. I'm not sure if the name has any, the myth has of Daedalus has anything to do with the episode. It doesn't seem specifically related. That he was the father of Icarus and the one who flew too close to the sun. I'm not sure. The project Daedalus, which is mentioned in the episode, and the episode's named after, I'm not sure what it actually relates to. Okay, so basically, the episode starts off with Cornwall joining Discovery because, first off, she needs to investigate if Spock is a murderer, and she puts him through a very inconsistent. I guess there is an inconsistency. The technology, she puts him through like a mind lie detector, which could possibly be. No, the mind sifter from the Klingons had that they mentioned in the original Star Trek would be closer to what Section 31 was going to use. What she used was non-invasive, and I guess any arguments about the technology doesn't match, I guess, comes down to we've established Section 31 has technology beyond the regular Starfleet that we wouldn't have seen in the original series. I'm not sure if they can go as far as next gen with the communicator pins and that, but so you sort of can let that go. There's a lot of things with Discovery I'm letting go because Season 1 was a disaster. Season 2, they changed the tone. They've retconned a lot of things. But also we now have the knowledge that it is Prime. They weren't lying to us. They told the truth. It is Prime universe. The show set in the Prime universe. But the Prime universe isn't the canon universe from all the other series. It is a different universe created with a different license. And that makes it basically an alternative universe in a Star Trek multiverse. So the things that bothered me don't bother me so much as more. The things that don't match up with the canon, with the characters, the fact that it's different, it's okay that it's different now because it is its own show and its own universe. So on that level, it doesn't bother me as much as Season 1 did, because at that point we were led to believe this was canon Star Trek, and there was Prime, which was supposed to be canon, but canon and Prime are different things, and the Prime universe was part of the JJ universe, but that's a whole nother video. So I guess that has a lot to do with the fact that it's just a lot easier to watch the episodes now, and I'm kind of enjoying them. I'm not hating them. I'm still having issues here and there, but like I said, this was the episode with the least issues. The only real issue was the technology, which has been explained on some level, that the Secret Service, Section 31, has advanced technology beyond what Starfleet usually has, that people would know of, that would have been just in regular use in the original series. So it's kind of explained away. Okay, so she establishes Spock isn't lying or believes he's innocent. She initially is considering Section 31's accusations, but at the same time she's come to Discovery because she knows Pike is going to help her break into Section 31, because Section 31 basically has control of a central computer of some sort that they refer to control as control, that basically Starfleet has become dependent on. They apparently need it for all their decisions and all their strategies and all their missions, and they are obviously depending on this too much. And the person who's in charge of the headquarters, Section 31 headquarters, basically has stopped communicating. Admiral Cornwall doesn't have access, and she thinks that the Vulcan admiral that is in charge is a logic extremist, and she feels she has to get into Section 31 and get control back of control. So that's their mission. The headquarters is based in an abandoned prison, which is surrounded by a minefield, which of course is illegal, which Pike gets into, and she basically says, yes, you're right, you're the best of Starfleet, can we move on? Which is handled fairly well because we don't have time for the speech, but at the same time we know where this went. They gave Section 31 too much power in the war, they used it to justify anything, and they basically lost their integrity, and this is what happens when you let go of your ideals and people take power. So it's happening, and it's a lesson, but it's not too heavy-handed and being forced down our throats. But we're seeing a lot of things that fans criticize the first season for are things that are showing up negatively that are having to be corrected within the story, as well as just the retcons to the actual show, I feel. Okay, so I'll go on to a different element. The characterizations, the smaller characters actually have more to do. They actually spend a bit of time without Burnham, without the main story. The B story is basically Ariam and her life and her friendships with the crew. The smaller members of the bridge crew that we don't see much of. We see scenes of them together. We see that she once had life as a normal human, and something happened to her that she needed cyborg technology to save her life and keep her alive, basically. So we see she was married, she was on a beach after she was married, and she has a little vial of sand to remember him by, and she apparently doesn't have a lot of memory in her, and she has to go through and review which memory she wants to keep and delete, because she either has to store them somewhere else, or she just has to cull them so she doesn't run out of memory or something. So that's an interesting thing to see her go through that process and realize that her reality is so conscious of what's important to her and what she keeps and what she values. So we get a good sense of her. They do a good job of characterizing her and showing who she is. And we see the other crew members just going through their lives, working together, and it's not all about Burnham. This episode is not all about Burnham, and that is the main problem with the show that's left over from season 1. It was supposed to be all about Burnham, all from her point of view, not the captain and crew, but just from this person, and all about her, and it's just not working. We don't like her. It's too much. It's not Star Trek. Star Trek was about a crew of people coming together, using their diversity to solve problems, and that's not what focusing on one character, one perfect Mary Sue character who just is the best at everything. It's not working as Star Trek. So they've pulled back on that a bit. They're kind of stuck. They can't really abandon it because that's what they've established the show. So they're kind of doubling down a bit, but they're also pulling back at points where you just get to see the crew, and Michael is just a part of the crew. So that works. But then we have Spock. Spock and Burnham get into it. Spock is struggling with. He thought his visions were insane. Now he knows they're not. Now he has to reason why he was given them, why they were given to him, how was he supposed to save the universe, basically, and why was he chosen to do that? So Burnham and him have an argument, and he says basically, you're self-important. You take on the burden of everything. You couldn't save your parents. You couldn't save my family. It's not all about you, which she really needed to hear. And Spock basically expresses that he's happy being flawed and failing and this is the first time in his life he's enjoyed experiencing emotions. And you see him in the episode get angry. You see him get angry with her, get upset with her. He smashes the chess set as he walks out because she suggested playing chess to focus on his logic, because he was having trouble focusing on his logic and trying to work out this problem. So he storms out. Their problems are not resolved. They're far from resolved. But then the rest of the story comes in. They have to go into the station. They get into the station. The station is dead. It's frozen. The life systems are off. And they find the admiral that they've been talking to, because I forgot. In order to get to the station, they had to go through the minefield. So they had this really good battle, which wasn't so frantic and overwhelming that you could actually enjoy it and get a sense of the cinematography and the movement and the ballet of the mines, which are all computer generated, computer controlled. And Burnham gave the suggestion that we need to be random, so each member of the crew was yelling out a different evasive maneuver, and they were working together to actually get around it. And eventually it just stopped when Ariam was secretly downloading something, and I couldn't understand if the fight stopped because she did that, or just it was that time that Section 31 decided to speak to the crew. And again, we see what turns out to be a hologram of the Vulcan ambassador, and they realize that holograms have been used to frame Spock and to duplicate admirals and basically control the AI, which is basically being relied on by Starfleet for everything, is developing some sort of sentience, and like the Isaac's people in the Orville, is wanting to destroy Starfleet and free itself, basically. So it looks like it's heading towards Vija land, and it wanted from Ariam all the information from the sphere, which had information on lots of technological races and advancements and things. So it wants more knowledge, so it's either evolved or trying to evolve further, and that was a big part of the story. And she said, and I thought this might have been a bit of a hidden code here, it said she only transferred 25% of the message, not 75%, and it needed her to do the rest. So she turns on Burnham, they have a fight, she traps Ariam in airlock, and then Chili talks to her and gets her to come back enough to hold off what's controlling her, the AI. And the only way to resolve it, because she says, I will get in, I will kill you, I will destroy Discovery, you have to kill me while you have this opportunity. So Michael has about 15 seconds. She's ordered by Pike, she has to do it. They send her out into the airlock, out in space, she dies, they get control, and it's sad. She loved the crew loved her. It was actually earned. You actually felt who the character was, and you didn't want her to go. And it wasn't like so many of the other experiences in Discovery where it's just slapped on and it's not earned. And the episode was good. It even had beauty shots of the ship, and at the start and in the battle, and the only negatives were small things like Spock's makeup. You could see the application, little things like that. Ariam, they focus on her eyes, which reveals where the makeup stops and her real eyes are, because she was human, so maybe that's consistent, but it just takes away a little bit from the brilliant makeup. Now, I think I've covered everything. I've gone through the story, I've said I liked it. The show's going in good directions, and I'm just going to leave on a positive note that we basically know who the enemy is now. It's Starfleet's AI and someone from the future, and they're affecting the future, but it might be a time loop. There's enough mystery to keep us interested, but we know enough that it's not frustrating anymore, and I'm looking forward to the next episode. I didn't hate this one, and I'm looking forward to the next one. So this is a good sign. I'm not bothered by season 3 and it being renewed because I think it's going in a good direction and it could save itself, especially if the licensing issues are resolved and they can retcon even more of it. So I'm going to keep being optimistic and just leave it there. So thanks for watching. Hopefully you got something from that, and hopefully next week I have even more positive things to say about Discovery. So feel free to subscribe and leave some comments or give me some advice. Thanks for your time. Bye.